Of course, I know that new construction is all the rage, and we definitely have plenty of it here in the Sarasota area. But there is something to say about just the charm, the stability of a neighborhood, just something about it as it ages a little bit. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you one neighborhood that really fits the bill. It's a great location. And this is called the Lakes Estates of Sarasota and the Lakes of Sarasota. It's kind of all in one. It's like two in one, I guess is the way to say it. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you 3 things about this lovely neighborhood. I'm going to start off kind of wide, give you the big picture, and then we're just going to narrow in and focus in on what this neighborhood is all about. First, let's talk big picture. Let's look at the location of this neighborhood. The Lakes is at the intersection of Bay Vista and McIntosh, the southeast corridor of that, and there's 2 entrances into the Lakes off of McIntosh. There's none off of Bay Vista. It is in between Fruitville Road to the north and Bee Ridge to the south, which takes you straight to 75. So it's easy to get north and south as quick as you want, but then just to the west, about the same distance is 41. So again, nice way to go north and south. And then also just shoot down Bay Vista, you practically run into downtown Sarasota, and then the Ringling Bridge is right there, which will get you out to St. Armand's Lido Key, and just to the south of all that is Siesta Key. So again, a beautiful central location. Something else I like about this is it's almost, not quite, but almost equidistance between Doctors Hospital and Sarasota Memorial Hospital, and then of course, around those are a lot of other doctor's offices, dentist offices, things like that. So if being close to medical is important to you, this might be a really nice location for you. And then it is also around other stores. So there's, boy, I don't know, 3 or 4 Publixes, just right around there. There's so many that are close by, close to a Detweiler's, other shops, restaurants. If you like Pinecraft is right down the street on Bay Vista. So you've got Yoder's and Dare Dutchman, a little bit of everything. Legacy Trail isn't too far away. So it is just a sweet little area. You're not too far from anything, really. Number 2, the neighborhood. So now let's just talk about the neighborhood itself. Now I'm just going to refer to it as the Lakes because as a local, that's really what we do. We don't call it the Lakes of Sarasota or the Lakes Estates of Sarasota. I think I've heard people just refer to it as Lakes Estates, but I live very close to it and I've just always called it the Lakes. So for whatever that's worth. So there is 2 parts to it. The Lakes Estates is the single family home section. And then just the Lakes of Sarasota is villas or condos. So these cute little condos that are there. I think most of them, if not all of them, have garages. So it's just a sweet little area. The villas are a little bit closer to McIntosh, and then the single family homes are just past that. There are some nice little amenities, a community pool, a fitness center. There are 2 tennis courts. There's a playground. I saw a basketball hoop, basketball court. And of course, there's a lot of little lakes in there because of the name Lakes Estates. So it's fitting. Now, there is no guard or gate at all. It's totally open. And a lot of people sometimes when they come down from up north, that really kind of freaks them out that if a neighborhood isn't gated. But this, I don't see it as a problem here. Now, this is a different comfort level for some people. That's just a deal killer. And I get it, especially if you're going to be gone a lot. But there are a lot of second home people in this neighborhood as well as primary residents. Now, the back side of the Lakes is defined by Philippi Creek, and Philippi Creek just kind of weaves throughout Sarasota here. And so we are quite a bit inland, so sometimes people just assume, oh, I'm further inland, so I'm going to be safe, I'll never flood, everything's hunky-dory. Well, that's not so much the case. Philippi Creek does get you all the way out to the bay, out to the Gulf. And so if we do have a storm surge of some sort, then yes, it can overflow. So part of this neighborhood is in a riskier flood zone A or AE, I forget which one. And then the rest is in flood zone X. I know they've worked on this over the years. I remember back in the 90s, there were problems there where if we even just had a good tropical storm, we would see people parked out on McIntosh or around the islands at the entrances because it was just too much water there. Now, I'm not saying that all the homes flooded or anything, but in order to drive and get back to your house, it was a struggle. I haven't seen that in many, many years, probably a dozen years or so. I think they did some work back there at the creek and helped with that. So when we do have heavier rains, that would dissipate a bit more so to keep, protect the properties. So that's a good thing. I do find the lakes to be really charming. It is not cookie cutter at all. You've got these beautiful mature trees and winding roads, and the homes definitely blend together, but it's not like what you see with the new construction today where everything is the same but different. These are all just different, and I think it's quite lovely. It adds definitely some charm to it. I like it too that when the homes are sort of offset on the lots too, not that there aren't any sections where they are straight on, but just those little turns, those little changes as you look down the road, I think it adds something to it to give it a lovely, comfortable, sort of charming feel to it. Now, one thing I do want to caution to you about having a home with these beautiful trees on there, we do get these storms that come through, and it doesn't have to be a full-blown hurricane, a Cat 4 or Cat 5, for these trees to cause damage. So I always tell people when I'm looking at homes with them, I always point out, okay, now look at these trees. I know you love those, but they definitely need to be maintained on a regular basis. Cut back from your house, because the trees are beautiful on the outside. They're not so beautiful on the inside of your house, right? So we want to keep those trimmed back. So that does, it's just an expense. So it's a charm, it's beautiful, it keeps your home cooler, but at the same time, it can cause damage. So you just want to be really careful and maintain those, and hire somebody who knows what they're doing to cut those back, to do it the right way. It's good to hire an arborist for those types of jobs. It's better for the tree, and then it's better overall too, in terms of they know which way to cut it back, how to cut it back, and preserve the tree, and can maintain beauty there when they do it, and they're just not hacking at things. So that's just my 2 cents on tree trimming. But overall, the neighborhood for the lakes is really nice. Just a nice amount of amenities, nothing too crazy, and just a beautiful neighborhood that's well maintained. Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jill Thomas. I'm a real estate agent here in beautiful Sarasota, Florida. I've lived here since 1991, so that's how I know things like about the lakes and different neighborhoods. And I've been doing real estate since 2008. And so each week I just want to bring quality content for you to help you understand our area, help you understand real estate here in the state of Florida, and then particular here regionally in the Sarasota Bradenton area, so you can make really good decisions for yourself. So if you've been thinking about buying or selling, then hey, keep watching some of these videos. If you're so inclined, hit the subscribe button. But really, I encourage you, if you have questions or if there's something I can help you with, please reach out to me. Down below, I have a link to my calendar where you can schedule a 30-minute phone call. I'm just here to help you out. You can call, text, email me if one of those times doesn't fit for you. Let me know what I can do as you figure this out. And I know sometimes you don't always end up right here. You're still trying to figure out what city or even what state you want to move to. That's okay. Use me as a resource. I'm here to help you out, and maybe I can connect you with an agent in a different area if you haven't found one yet. Okay, so we've looked at the big picture, the location of the lakes in comparison to everything else here in Sarasota. We talked more about the neighborhood. So now let's talk about homes. Let's narrow in a little bit tighter. Like I said, there are 2 types of properties there: the estates, the homes, and then the villas or condos. We can call them, really, either one's an appropriate term. Now with the homes, for the most part, everything was built in the 80s and some around 1990, very early 90s, but just a handful. For the most part, all these homes were built in the 80s, and they definitely have those characteristics of an 80s home. I've done videos specifically talking about the features of an 80s home, and the lakes is definitely not anything different, with the exception of, I would say, it's probably a little bit more elevated. The homes are bigger, just the way they're designed. The features a little bit more classy, a little bit more, just some of the features are a little different. Like for instance, way back in the early 90s, I babysat for a couple of people who lived there. And this was the first time I saw a 2-sided fireplace that separated the dining room and the living room. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And now, of course, I see them, off and on for sure. But that was the first time I saw something like that. But these homes are just definitely are elevated a bit compared to your average 80s home, I would say, without getting into the, really McMansion type properties. The size of the homes run between about 2,000 square feet and 3,500 square feet. And a few are even a little bigger than that. The lots are also a really nice size. They run between 13,000 square feet and about 40,000 square feet. So this means it's about 1/3 of an acre, all the way almost up to a full acre. So that's really awesome. And what's also good about that is even if, let's say, you have maybe a more modest sized lot, Well, if you're next to somebody with a bigger lot, it just still makes it feel like you've got more space between you and your neighbors. Now, like I talked about before, some of these homes are sort of offset a bit. So from the front of the home, they might look a little bit more squished, especially if you're looking at a cul-de-sac. But then when you go out back, a lot of times those are pie-shaped lots. So the backyard is really going to be big. So obviously I'm not taking video of these homes from the backside, can't do that. But from the front, it might be a little deceiving for you, so just keep that in mind. The condition of the homes, like I said, these homes were built in the 80s, so that's 40 years ago. Hard to believe. And you're going to see everything. You're going to see homes that are more original and some that are hyper updated and everything in between. Sometimes you see these homes where you feel like they did a little something different once every decade, so it's almost like a timeline of styles. You'll see a little from the 80s, a little from the 90s, the early 2000s, and then maybe the 2010s, and then even today. So there could be just 4 or 5 different looks even spread throughout the home. The construction of these homes, definitely some are block with the stucco and some are wood frame. You're going to see some siding on those, or they could be even stuccoed over the wood frame. They're all going to be on a slab, but pretty sure they would be. But there is definitely a mix between wood frame and the block. The price of these homes run about $500,000, around $500,000 up to $1 million, more or less on each end. So of course, price is going to be determined by the size, the condition, the updates, all those things. So hopefully by now, we're looking at the 3rd roof on the house, that should be going on now if it hasn't already. Again, generically speaking, it sort of depends on when the house was first built. So there's been a lot of work done to these homes. You're going to see, again, as always, we want to watch the age of these roofs, the condition of the roofs, the AC, make sure everything is up to code for that 4-point inspection so you can get insurance. And then the dues, very modest, between $130 and $150 a month, more or less. So I saw that range. So for the nice amenities, how it's beautifully maintained, of course, even those trees that are on the common areas, somebody has to pay for that, for all that to stay maintained. So that is a big deal. So it's really important that all of that's taken care of. And there are no CDD fees. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, in terms of number of homes, there are about 190 single-family homes there. Now let's move on to the villas or condos, and there are about 42 of those here in the Lakes. These were all built in the 80s as well. So again, some of these characteristics of an 80s home with vaulted ceilings. I've been in quite a few of these in the past, and they're really great with light. I don't think there's any or very few like interior units. So lots of windows, lots of natural light. It's very, very pretty. So I really like that about these properties. The sizes, of course, are going to be smaller than the single family homes. They run between 1,000 and about 1,400 square feet. In terms of the condition of the homes, just like I mentioned, or with the condos or the villas, just like I mentioned with the homes, you're going to see a little bit of everything. Stuff that's outdated, stuff that's super current, looking great, and everything else in between. Now, the construction, the materials used to build all these they're all wood frame. Now, some people really freak out about that. Some people are okay because from talking to people, there's some areas up north where it's a lot of wood frame construction. Here, people, of course, are nervous about termites. You just need to keep an eye on it. You need to maintain things. You need to have it treated. And there's also a chance too, I'm not sure if the association covers pest control for these properties, so that might be, give you some peace of mind knowing that the association would take care of that. But you just definitely need to keep an eye on things. And also, please know, even a block home can have termites because, yeah, the exterior is block, but the inside is still wood. So they could be up in the rafters, they could be on the walls. So you always want just to be mindful of that. So don't be too afraid about wood frame. Now, in terms of price, all of these have been selling in the 300s, at the low end around 330 for something very basic, smaller, needing updating, up to about 385 for something pretty fabulous. And currently the dues are running about $585 per month. So what do you think of the Lakes? Do you think it might be a fit for you? With, like I said, great location, just has a lovely feel to it, just very comfortable, appealing to the eye, lots of variety in terms of homes and properties. Or is the wood frame, flood zone AE, is that too much for you to kind of freaks you out? Let me know what you think. Put it in the comments below. If you have something else to add about this area, about this community that I didn't mention, that's okay. Put it in the comments below as well. I would like everybody else to see that also. Now, If the Lakes isn't a fit for you at all, that's okay. We have a lot of other neighborhoods that I'm super familiar with. So if there's something I can help you with, let me know. Throw out your thoughts to me and I'll help you figure out maybe what is just the right neighborhood for you to live in. I'm here and available for you. Well, I just want to let you know I do appreciate you watching here. If you're listening to this, you've listened all the way to the end. So I thank you for that. I want you to have a great day.